The sun was bright over the quiet town of Clearwater, where the gentle hum of engines from a nearby diner mixed with the rustle of trees in the warm afternoon breeze. Inside the Silver Route Cafe, life looked peaceful, families chatting, coffee cups clinking, laughter echoing through the small space. But at one corner booth, a little girl with big hazel eyes and trembling fingers stirred her soda silently, her gaze darting toward the door every few seconds. Something was terribly wrong. The girl's name was Mia, 7 years old, dressed in a pink sweater 2 sizes too big, and sitting beside a man whose eyes held no warmth. He was tall, rough-looking, and every time she moved even a little, his hand gripped the edge of the table just enough to remind her to stay still. To the people passing by, they looked like a father and daughter out for lunch. But Mia's eyes told a different story, one filled with fear, silence, and the desperate hope that someone, anyone, would notice. If you believe in kindness, courage, and second chances, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Journal. Your support helps us spread real stories that remind the world that good still exists, even in the darkest moments. Outside, a low rumble of motorcycles approached. The sound turned heads as 5 bikers pulled into the lot, their chrome bikes gleaming under the daylight. They were part of a local motorcycle group known as the Iron Shepherds, men and women who rode not for trouble, but for brotherhood and charity. Among them was Cole, a broad-shouldered man in his late 30s with a scar across his eyebrow and a heart that had been softened by years of helping at-risk kids through community rides. Cole parked his Harley and walked in with the group, the doorbell jingling as the air shifted slightly, noise, laughter, and energy entering the calm restaurant. They took a booth near the back, laughing lightly as they placed their orders, unaware that a silent cry for help was sitting just a few tables away. Mia's hand trembled as she reached for her napkin. Written on it, in shaky, uneven letters, were 4 words, "Help me. He's not Dad." She had seen something like this once before on a poster at her school, a small guide teaching children how to signal danger discreetly. Her heart raced so fast it felt like her chest might burst. She waited until the man beside her looked at his phone, then folded the napkin tightly and placed it near the edge of the table, hoping a waiter would notice, but fate had other plans. The napkin slipped to the floor, landing right beside Cole's boot. He bent down to pick it up, thinking it was his, but when he opened it, his eyes hardened instantly. He glanced toward the booth it must have come from and saw her. The little girl's eyes met his for less than a second, but it was enough. Fear, pleading, hope, all in one glance. He knew Cole didn't make a scene. He quietly showed the napkin to his group. Ava, the only woman in the crew, covered her mouth in shock. Reed, a former Marine, clenched his jaw and muttered, "We need to be smart. Can't spook him." The bikers watched the man carefully. His body language screamed control, his arm possessively close to the girl, his attention flicking toward the window as if planning a quick exit. The waitress approached them, and Cole whispered something to her. Her face drained of color, and she subtly nodded before heading toward the manager's office. Minutes stretched like hours. The waitress returned with a small signal, a nod that meant the police were on their way. But before help could arrive, the man stood abruptly, grabbing Mia's wrist. "Let's go," he snapped. She didn't resist, but her eyes darted again toward Cole. He couldn't just sit there. Cole rose from his seat, his boots thudding against the floor. "Hey, man," he said in a calm voice, "you forgot to pay your check." The man froze, turning sharply. "Mind your business," he hissed. But Cole stepped closer, not menacingly, just steady, like a wall that couldn't be moved. Behind him, his crew stood too, their presence filling the small restaurant like a shield. A tense silence fell over the room. The man's grip on Mia tightened. She whimpered, and that tiny sound was enough to break every restraint in Cole's chest. He raised his hands slightly. "It's okay, kid," he said softly. "You're safe now." The man pushed past him, dragging Mia toward the exit. That's when Ava moved, blocking the door with a calm but firm stance. "You don't want to do this," she said, voice low but unyielding. "Let her go." Outside, the sound of more engines echoed down the street. The rest of the Iron Shepherds were arriving from a nearby charity ride, at least 20 more bikers, pulling in and lining the parking lot in a thunderous, united wall of chrome and leather. The man stopped at the sight, his escape route swallowed by a sea of bikers watching silently, their faces unreadable but their intent crystal clear. Mia's small voice broke the stillness, "Please, help." The man let go. By the time the police arrived, he was on the ground, restrained by Reed and another biker who'd stepped in quietly but efficiently. The officers took over, and Mia was wrapped in a blanket by a paramedic who spoke to her gently. Through the chaos, her eyes searched for Cole. When she found him, she ran forward and hugged his leg tightly, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Thank you," she whispered. Cole knelt, his rough hand resting lightly on her shoulder. "You did the brave thing, kiddo," he said, his voice thick. "You got yourself saved." Later, the officers explained that Mia had been reported missing 2 days earlier. The man who took her wasn't a relative, just someone who'd spotted her walking home and decided she looked like an easy target. Her mother, Karen, had been searching non-stop. When she arrived at the station that evening, the reunion was almost too emotional to bear. The moment Mia saw her mother, she broke into sobs, clinging to her as if she never wanted to let go again. Cole and the others stood quietly at a distance, their biker jackets still dusty from the ride. The officers thanked them for their quick thinking, but Cole just shrugged. "We were in the right place at the right time," he said. But deep down, he knew that little girl's courage had saved her far more than anything they'd done. In the days that followed, the story spread across Clearwater. People began calling Mia the brave little signal girl, and the Iron Shepherds received countless messages of gratitude. But for Cole, it wasn't about recognition, it was about something deeper. He had seen darkness before, in his own past, when he'd been a lost teen heading down the wrong road. Someone had once stepped in for him, just like he did for Mia. It was a full-circle moment that hit him harder than he could explain. Weeks later, the cafe owner invited the bikers back. It was a sunny Saturday, and the Silver Route Cafe had never been busier. A small fundraiser was being held in Mia's honor to raise awareness for missing children and teach families how to recognize silent distress signals. Mia was there, standing proudly beside her mother, holding a small drawing she had made, a picture of 5 bikers with angel wings watching over her. When Cole approached, she smiled shyly and handed him the drawing. "I made this for you," she said. "Because you're the good kind of biker." He chuckled softly, taking the paper as he blinked away the sudden sting in his eyes. "Nah, kid," he said quietly. "You're the good kind. You're the reason people still believe the world's got some light left in it." The event ended with laughter, cheers, and hugs. The Iron Shepherds started their engines once again, their bikes roaring like thunder across the quiet streets. But before they left, Mia waved and called out, "Bye, my heroes." Her voice echoed down the road, carried by the wind, soft, but powerful enough to leave everyone who heard it with tears in their eyes. In that moment, the town of Clearwater didn't just witness an act of rescue, it witnessed the power of awareness, unity, and kindness. It was proof that sometimes, angels don't have wings, they ride Harleys and wear leather jackets, showing up right when the world needs them most.